This is for my mother, and this is for my father, and this is for my brother. And Latka's excellent response, I hope you have a smart family. Now, as an aside, I saw this scene when Jim Carrey reenacted it in Man on the Moon, the movie about Andy Kaufman. I remember seeing the scenes they showed in that movie and thinking, man, I need to watch this show someday. Only took me 25 years. Welcome back to another episode of The Rank. I'm John, and today we're going to be ranking the next episode of Taxi. Now, for those of you who are new to the show, I'm just going to give you an agenda real quick. We start with the potent notables, which are just a couple interesting facts or tidbits that I found out about the episode or series. Then I do the episode overview, which is just me talking about everything that happened in the episode. And then I do the rank, the namesake of the show, where I rank the episode in 5 categories on a scale of 1 to 5, 1 being the worst, 5 being the best, all to find out what is the best sitcom of all time. And today we're going to be ranking the 17th episode of the 2nd season of Taxi, titled Guess Who's Coming for Brefnish, which was written by Barry Kemp and directed by James Burrows. Now, the series is super old. It's been around for a long time. There's going to be spoilers ahead. If you want to watch it, it's available on Paramount Plus, so watch it beforehand if you don't want spoilers. Otherwise, spoilers ahead. But let's dive in here and find out how this one stacks up, starting with the potent notables.
Potent notables.
So this 39th episode of Taxi was released Tuesday, January 15th, 1980. Taxi jumped back up to 6th this week in the ratings with a 27.8, which is a really high rating for Taxi. It was still second on the ABC Tuesday night lineup behind Three's Company, though, which had a 31. The number 1 show of the week, Super Bowl 14, which had a 46.3, which is sort of lower than I would have expected, actually. I guess people were sick of watching the Steelers win, maybe. I mean, this is the last of the 4 Super Bowls in 6 years that the Pittsburgh Steelers won, beating the Los Angeles Rams 31-19. All right, on to the next potent notable, which was Summer Lovin' from Grease plays while Latka sits alone at Mario's at the end. Now, series star Jeff Conaway starred in the film version of Grease, and that's Jeff Conaway and Mary Lou Henner's voices singing the song. I just thought that was kind of fun. All right, but those are the potent notables. Let's go to the episode overview. I always get nervous when Taxi decides to have a Latka episode because I feel like I'm in for long stretches of gibberish talking. Now, any language I don't understand is gibberish talking to me, so it's not that it's inherently bad. It's just that Taxi usually tries to make the gibberish talk the joke of the episode when they do it. But I have good news. They didn't do that in this episode. Now, they definitely had a lot of gibberish talk, but they finally understood not to make the gibberish talk the punchline. It didn't start off with Latka. We start with Louis being weird and then a creep. He's seemingly meeting every woman that is coming in for his boss's secretarial job interview and telling them that he hopes they get it. Then he says to one, I'm not just saying that because you have great paganzas. I mean, it's not unfunny, but what is so weird to me is that right after that, Elaine is like, he's just sucking up to these girls so he stays in good with the boss or whatever. Not, Louis, that's gross. You shouldn't be talking about their breasts. No. That was a compliment, you see, and he was sucking up. Just bizarre. Anyway, turns out the boss has already selected somebody and everyone has to leave, and wouldn't you know it, they hear the language of Caspiar being spoken by one of the women in this group. Well, this perks Latka's ears up, and the rest of the garages for that matter. Latka isn't going to let this opportunity slip through his fingers and starts going after her right away. We find out why she has emigrated, and it's because the mountain people keep moving into the cities, or whatever. Of course, Latka assumes she's one of the city people, like him, and starts making fun of the mountain people. It's pretty clear from the moment he starts doing that Simka, the girl from his native land, is actually a mountain person. For some reason, though, she isn't turned off by his racism against her people. No, she wants everyone to keep it a secret from Latka that she's a mountain person to make sure that their romance can continue, I guess. Seems to be some deep-seated self-loathing there for her. The show moves us forward a bit, and Simka and Latka are a full-fledged couple now, with Elaine even calling them a cute couple. Latka and Simka are meeting the rest of the garage gang out at the cabbie restaurant, and we get a funny bit where they say they had just seen Grease, and Latka was disappointed because he thought it was going to be about mechanics. Well, a little while after they get there, Latka steps away, and of course, Alex and the rest impress upon Simka that she has to tell Latka about her apparently tainted blood. She does, and we get another fantastic scene where she uses his hand to slap him in the face for all the bad mountain person jokes he was making. This is for my mother, and this is for my father, and this is for my brother. And Latka's excellent response, I hope you have a smart family. Now, as an aside, I saw this scene when Jim Carrey reenacted it in Man on the Moon, the movie about Andy Kaufman. I remember seeing the scenes they showed in that movie and thinking, man, I need to watch this show someday. Only took me 25 years. Anyway, Latka wants to be with her, but can't bring himself to get over his prejudices in the moment, and she leaves with both of them heartbroken. Eventually, he does convince her to come see him again sometime later, and she's got a job now. She sits on the rake at the horse track to weigh it down, which is just an hilarious job. But that's not the only new thing she has. She's got a new beau, and he's pretty damn accomplished. He's a surgeon, and gorgeous according to Latka, which was fun, who's so wealthy he only needs to work twice a week. And he's dating a rake sitter girl? She sits on the rake. Maybe a bit of a stretch, but whatever. But that's how it ends. Latka doesn't get the girl back, even though he was willing to disgrace himself to be with her. Will Simka's first arrival on Taxi contribute to a good ranking? Let's find out.
A rank.
So the rank is where I rank the episode based on 5 categories: story, acting, dialogue, episode coherence, and character relatability. I rank it on a scale of 1 to 5, 1 being the worst, 5 being the best. And then I have a laugh counter where I tally up the amount of times the episode made me laugh out loud. 1 point per laugh out loud gets added to the score. And before I dive into the rankings here, I just want to say, if you're enjoying this episode, please leave a like down below. It really does help me out. Hitting that thumbs up button does, yeah. I didn't have an end to that sentence, so here we are.
This is awkward.
Okay, so without further ado, the first category is story, which I gave a 4.5. The story is that Latka runs into a woman from his country at the garage, amazingly, and a romance ensues. However, because Latka and his fellow countrymen are racist against the region in his country, it ends up in strife. You know, this is a good story. Maybe a little too somber. Who's surprised with Taxi? But good. So let's go to acting, which I gave a 3.75. Everyone was good, including Andy Kaufman, but especially Carol Kane. She was great as Simka. Mary Lou Henner was weak in this episode, in my opinion. Not bad or anything, just not great. Judd Hirsch, whether it was because he hated Andy in real life or he doesn't thrive when he's not the center of focus, wasn't all that great either. Again, he wasn't bad, but it did feel like he was just phoning it in a bit. All right, so let's go to dialogue, which I gave a 4.25. This was a really funny episode. I'm always going to struggle with Taxi's incessant need to make things more somber than they need to be, but I kind of felt like I could get behind the reason for melancholy in this one more than others. Bottom line though, it was a really well-written episode. So let's go to episode coherence, which I gave a 5. I thought about knocking it a little bit for never keeping up with the continuity of Louis having a girlfriend, but Louis does seem like the kind of guy that would push those buttons and see what he could get away with, so I did. I thought all the characters felt right and the story arc of the episode made a lot of sense. It was really good. So let's go to character relatability, which I gave a 4.5. Alex annoys me. I just can't take his, can you believe they want me to be involved in this shtick? Like, just acknowledge you want to be in the middle of everything. I can't decide if this is a character trait that they've built in or if it's that the writers really want us to believe that Alex doesn't want to get involved. But I think it's the latter. Anyway, I thought everyone was relatable and I thought it was well done. All right, so some pretty good scores here. It's not going to need a huge laugh counter to get it into the top 3 tiers, and it actually had a pretty good one. It got me 15 times, which is officially the most laughs I've ever had for a Taxi episode. So that's a good sign, right? So there you have it, a grand total of 37, which makes it a holy grail. Actually, it's officially the highest ranked episode so far. Only 3 more laughs, and it would have been the first Taxi episode in the top tier. But as for the series average, it's at a 25.7, which keeps it as mediocre. And if you're ranking along with me, drop your score for this one in the comments. I'd be curious to see what you'd say. If you'd like to see a list of our episode and series rankings, you can do that on our website, therankedpodcast.com. Now, for those of you who've been watching for a while and you just haven't subscribed yet, please do subscribe and or follow if you're enjoying it. For anybody else out there, you can comment or shoot me an email at info@therankedpodcast.com with questions, comments, or suggestions, and I will reply to you if you want me to. Please also consider becoming a patron on our Patreon site at patreon.com/therankedpodcast, where you can get access to all of our archived episodes. But I will leave you with this. Why didn't it work out between Latka and Simka?
Why is that?
Because she wouldn't come down to his level from the mountains. I'm not sure what this means, but the mount down. I think this was walking down a mountain.
Okay, I think they get it.
Then he says to one, I'm not just saying that because you have great gazangas. Baganzas?
Close enough.